So hey man, it's nice to have you here. I just watched that video day before yesterday. And I was like, I gotta talk to this guy. You are like on another level, Casey Neistat's level. I hope you know that guy, right? Of course
Thank
you
you.
do. That intro was on another level. How long did it take for you to edit that thing?
That video was actually really quick. It was only like a day where I just sort of filmed and then I put it together in like a few hours. Really, it wasn't a huge like it was sort of a low key kind of video.
What about the intro thing? Intro looked like a bit advanced kind of thing.
Right, right. I've had that intro for a while. It's sort of just a collection of clips that I picked those from videos over the years. So like one of them is from like a behind the scenes like a film I was doing. There's one from like a photo shoot. Like there's a bunch of different clips from like different videos that I've done over the years.
Uh huh. Who was your inspiration, dude?
Just to like make videos or like for that one specifically.
In general, it
Cool,
might be
yeah.
anything.
In general.
Was it?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I just kind of grew up like watching YouTube, and so I had that sort of guiding me in that direction. And then I always loved like making movies. Like ever since I was probably like 7 years old, I got like an iPod Touch. Like when that first came out, like the iPod 4 or whatever it was, first one that had a camera on it. And so I started making like little short films with my buddy Luke, who lived next door to me. And we'd just make like little skits and stuff where we play, like we'd do like basketball trick shots or like stuff like that.
How old were
And it
you?
sort of started with that and like watching YouTube growing up and just sort of
How
went
old
up
were
from
you?
there.
How old were you when you started making films on iPhones?
Probably like 7 or 8 years
Oh,
old
okay.
when we first started.
Uh huh. So let's give us a brief introduction of who you are to begin with.
Right. So I'll keep it brief. Well, yeah, my name's Josh. I go by the Josh Photographer on YouTube, and I make like short films and vlogs and things like that. Um, I just sort of graduated high school. I've been doing photography for a few years and always been into that. But I've really always loved making films. That's sort of like my passion. So um, just I've been taking like classes and learning online, watching lots of YouTube tutorials and things like that. Like that's how I spend a lot of my time. Is just like learning as much as I can. Um, I live here in Denver, Colorado. I love being up in the mountains, having the snow, and all that crazy weather stuff
Mm-hmm.
we get over here. And yeah, gosh, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't get asked this very much.
It's all right.
Um, I don't know. What do you want to know? Like
I think the first time I've seen you is on the thing that you did with. Oh, I forgot the name of the guy. What's that?
Aaron Starr.
Yeah, Aaron Stark's YouTube, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want to know more about this guy, so I searched your name and found about you, and yeah, I never knew you were making films in this scale, but yeah. So, what software you use to make your films?
Software. So I have Adobe. I use Premiere and After Effects for like video stuff, and then I have like Photoshop and Lightroom and all those for photo editing.
Mm-hmm. Um, I have some questions written down. Mm. So at this day and age, how old are you? You look pretty young.
I'm actually 18.
Oh, yeah, you do look pretty young. So
Yeah, yeah.
at this age, no one knows. Like, I mean, most of the population, most of the people who are like around 18 to 21 don't know what they're doing, and are just figuring out what they want to do. So, um, how did you figure out what you want to do, and did you always have this drive to make these movies?
Well, I guess I don't know. Like when it first started out, like it was like I said, it was just little like short videos. I guess it was sort of just like for fun for a long time. We would do like nerf videos for a
Mm-hmm.
while, like those like action scenes you see like a lot of on YouTube in like 2010, 2012. Um, we do like cheap special effects and stuff like that. And that was all just kind of for fun. Like that was just messing around and like stuff to do when we were hanging out. I guess when I first started like pursuing film and when I figured out like that was what I wanted to do, sort of around high school, I guess I took like a class for filmmaking and like video production in my freshman year, and then that same year I also took a photography class, and that was sort of when I started to like get serious about things. Watching a lot of like instructional videos and tutorials and stuff, and like just sort of like figuring out what my style was and like what I wanted to make on YouTube, and just figuring that out. I guess it was probably around freshman and sophomore year was when I sort of figured that out.
So you're not gonna go for college, right? You already figured it out.
Oh well, I don't know. That's a complicated question.
Uh-huh.
Casey Neistat has always said like don't waste your time at film school. You hear that a lot like from popular filmmakers on the internet and personalities on YouTube and stuff. But I've also heard like it can be useful for things like networking. You meet up with people that can help you make good connections. You'll have resources at your fingertips that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. Since they'll have like cameras and like equipment and stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to have. So it could be useful. I'm looking into a couple of colleges, like maybe for a 2-year associate's program or something, but nothing too serious. I would never go to college for 4 years. I don't think I could.
Yeah.
I would get bored too quickly.
Me too. I don't know how I graduated college, but I did it. So I was gonna ask you something about. I forgot that question, so let me ask you another one.
Okay.
This is the first time I've written down the questions. I don't know why. So let's go back to like your childhood. This is the thing I always go back to, like, to how were you as a child and how did you like grow up in the U.S. and how was your life?
Yeah, I guess I have it pretty easy for the most part. I can't complain. I was born in California with my mom and dad, and we were in a little apartment in kind of Anaheim, California, and then kind of near where Disneyland is, like right in that area. We were always, going to the beach and stuff like that. All the way, I was like in a private Catholic school, I think. 'Cause my dad was Catholic and he wanted me to do that. It's like St. Anne's or something. And yeah, that was. I mean, those were probably great times. I don't have much memory from them because I actually moved to Colorado when I was 6, so I was pretty young. I just remember sort of uprooting and, having to, find a whole new group of friends and stuff like that. When I moved to Colorado, I met Luke, who I mentioned, who we made videos together, right? He lived right next door where I moved in my grandma's house. We were living with my grandma.
When you met him?
Yeah, I was like six years old. And he was just like playing in the yard, like, he had like this really cool like slide and swing like set up in his backyard, and I was like, as a little kid, I was like, that was awesome. So I was like, I want to hang out with that guy, so I can like have like hang out on the swing and like have all that cool stuff. But we became really good friends, and we lived right next door to each other for like 6 or 7 years. And then just as growing up, I was part of Boy Scouts, so I did that, and then I met a few of my other friends who've been in my videos that you've probably seen. So like Levi and I were in Boy Scouts together, and we knew each other from that. Ethan, I met in Boy Scouts, but then he moved away for a bit. So like that's how I got a lot of that. And then, after that sort of happened, like I sort of didn't know what I wanted. Like I was pursuing music for a long time. I took guitar lessons when I was young. I was doing like praise and worship at my church, so I'd play electric guitar and I would sing, and I also have like acoustic guitars back there. And,
you still do play music?
Yeah, I'm casually. I dabble in music, but for a while I thought that was what I wanted to do, and so I would practice every day. We had like a little band that we called 7-String Capo, and it was like. It was me and Levi and a couple other of our friends, and Ethan was in it too. We performed we have this little area where during the summer they play movies on a big screen, like in front of the library. It's called in the Square, and so we played like 2 or 3 shows, like before the movie. They had us come out and play, and that was like one of the coolest things I ever did music-wise.
When I look at your videos, you seem pretty social. Do you consider yourself socially really outgoing and stuff?
Depends on. I mean, I guess I sort of put that. I guess I give off that persona when I'm like on camera,
Mm-hmm.
so I can understand that, like where that can come from. I feel like I'm sort of half and half,
Mm-hmm.
like as far as social versus kind of like reserved. Like I definitely need a lot of time to myself, where I could kind of go crazy. But I also can't stand not being with my friends for too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's sort of like the balance. Um, I can be a really social person, or I can be really quiet sometimes too. So it just depends on the day. I actually took like one of those 4 letter personality tests or whatever, and I literally scored 51-49 on being extroverted versus introverted. So I'm just a little, like, tiny bit more extroverted than I am introverted.
Hmm. I'm pretty socially anxious person. Do you have any tips for me? Just kidding. um,
Don't be nervous, man. You're doing a great job. We're all having fun here.
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty. I struggle all my life. I don't know. I actually did an interview with a guy who's socially anxious. He's from the US as well. The other video, so um, yo, you cut out there for a bit. Um, can you hear me now?
I can, yeah. You're fine. Can you hear me
Yeah,
fine enough?
I can. I was just gonna say I just did a video with another guy who is socially anxious, so I'm from that area, so I'm completely. I wouldn't say sometimes I do feel I'm outgoing, but a lot of the times, 90% of the times, I do struggle to make social interactions and stuff. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's about it. So, um, how
I
did?
don't guess, I know a lot.
What was that?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, that could be hard. Like, I just know a lot of people
Yeah, yeah,
were
yeah.
pretty.
It's a big thing. Like loneliness and social anxiety is like a big thing. And when I see your videos, you seem like pretty enjoying pretty well. And like I feel like, oh, this is how it needs to be. Like I want to be like Josh. Like he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I guess the secret really is just get a great group of friends that you can just trust and like hang out with, and they'll bring out the best in you.
Yeah, yeah. So how did your friends influence in your craft? Like, was there an instance where you felt like solely because of your friends that you have learned something in your filmmaking?
Oh, definitely. Okay, so I made a video on the Elvin Archer's channel a little bit ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, where I just talked about like, me and Levi's like friendship and how we grew up together and stuff like that a little bit. And I basically said like he was the one like who inspired me really to pursue like filmmaking when I was like sort of not sure what I wanted to do.
How old were you
Just
then? Like, if like,
it was before freshman year. It was like middle school, so I was
okay.
probably like
Mm-hmm.
12 maybe 15. Like so, like those awkward years where you're like sort of figuring out like what life is
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Um, like we were in middle school and still action videos that I mentioned, like our nerf guns and like those special effects and stuff. Like I was still making those kind of videos, and he would always help me out with those. Like anytime I was like, "Hey man, you want to like come over and like shoot a video?" He was always down. He was always like, "Yeah man, let's do it. We'll do this and this." He always had a ton of ideas, and he would help me out with that a lot. And then when I started moving into more like getting serious about filmmaking and like making some more serious stuff, he was like super supportive and like always down to help me out with that stuff too. So that was awesome. Him and then also like my best friend Ethan. He was always just like there for me when I needed like someone to talk to about anything. Yeah, video games. He was always like, we were always having a laugh and like, just always super friendly and like making each other laugh all the time. So that was always really fun. So they really just kind of, I mean, if anything, they influenced my personality, but like that sort of bleeds into my filmmaking too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, having like having a good group of friends is really, like essential part of becoming a person. So it does affect your artistry as well. Um,
Exactly.
why don't we just get into like exactly what you do? What's your work like? What sort of projects do you work on?
Right. Okay. So like for YouTube, I don't actually get paid to do YouTube videos. I'm not big enough to do that yet. So that's just kind of like a passion project for me. Is my YouTube channel and like doing that stuff. But I'm making short films. It's usually like if I make a short film, it's usually for some kind of competition. They're usually not like cash prize competitions or anything like that. But like Lost and Found, I made that for like a film festival at my church, and then. The last game was for a 1-minute short film contest for on Film Riot, and Film Store was giving away some pretty cool free stuff for that. And like the blogs and stuff are just for fun. Okay. As far as like work, I work at 2 places. The first place is like it's a photography company called Image Counts, and they take like headshots for like business people, and so I shoot like headshots of like real estate agents and things like that, and we do that and that sort of thing. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm working at my church where we do like graphic design and video and photography like that the church needs to do for stuff. So like when they're doing like promotions or like videos for sermons or whatever, like I'm working on those, and then like graphics for like banners and things that are hanging all over the building. And so I do stuff like that on the side as well.
Cool. So where do you want to do take this forward in like however many years from now? Where do you want to be? Like what sort of work are you planning on to do? You have any idea about like this is my thing, this is my area of work? That specifically, of course, filmmaking is a broader field. So what sort of a thing that inspires you to do?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see Image Counts being a long-term thing, just because. Basically, I get to travel around the U.S. Like, if they need photos taken in Los Angeles, California, like they'll fly me out to California, like, pay for me to stay in a hotel, and then I shoot photos for them and like work, and then I can just like be there for a few days and then come back. And so, Image Counts is awesome that way because like
what exactly is Image Counts? Is it like just photography or? Is there something?
Yeah, it's sort of like professional photography for people who need like business card headshots and like graphic design work for their business or stuff like that. So we really specialize in like doing real estate agents. That's sort of like our niche. So like we go to real estate agents' offices and like take pictures wherever they need it done, and they get like photos for their business cards and their flyers and things like that.
What about filmmaking? In filmmaking, do you want to like do films?
Yeah. So for that, I'd love to like make independent movies, like indie films and stuff. I just love seeing like independent filmmakers get support, like when things are like made with smaller crews and not like super corporate, like what Hollywood is kind of right now. I love seeing like smaller projects get a lot of attention. So I'd love to be a part of that if I can. I'm doing a lot of like stuff with Adventure Squad, which is sort of like our group of like YouTube friends that all make videos together. I'd love to take that further, where we could do bigger videos and like travel around and make videos. That'd be awesome. That's what I'd love to do. And then also I have like my photography business on the side that I do. So like I take like senior portraits and family photos and stuff. And like, that's just a way for me to like kind of make money on the side so that I can pay for all the stuff that I want to do.
So where do you want to be in like 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself?
10 years. 10 years, I'd love to be like making like just independent films, like either as a director or like as a cameraman, like a DP or something like that. I would just love to be involved in that, however and wherever I can, and just be getting paid to do that would be awesome.
What stuff do you do with Aaron? You said you're working with him in certain stuff.
Right. So yeah, my stuff with Aaron. So Aaron, the reason I know Aaron is because my girlfriend. She's his dad. But wow, that didn't come out right. Aaron is Katie's dad. I'm dating Katie.
Yeah.
And so that's how I met him. We started dating like early January of this year, before all Aaron's like social media stuff took off. So when I met him, he was just like my girlfriend's dad. But we got along really well. We were like really good friends. He liked me a lot. So we would hang out and like play video games and like talk about stuff. That was awesome. And then I think it was like March, maybe April. I think it was March when he posted his "I was almost a school shooter" like Facebook post that like blew the heck up. Where he just talked about his past and like how he's in a really dark place and he almost did something really terrible, but an act of kindness sort of stopped him from committing that atrocity. And he ended up changing his life for the better, and bringing himself out of his depression, and then starting a family and being a really great guy. So. That story kind of took off, and he got all these like news interviews and things like that, and he started he did his TED Talk in June, and he's been talking to like all these crazy like people in like really high places. Like I won't go into too much detail because I don't know how much is like public information, but he's like working deals with like really really cool people and getting to talk to people like that he's been a fan of and things like that. So it's just like it's been crazy like that. Like he went from having like this really like normal life to like all of a sudden having all this notoriety and fame. And it hasn't always been easy, especially on the family, but like they've made it work, and they're it's gonna really, in the long run, it's gonna be really great for him, and I'm excited for what he's gonna be doing.
So you're working with his YouTube channel as well, right?
Right, yeah. So he has his YouTube channel, and he does like he wants to do like a lot of like series and shows like that he can produce on a weekly basis. So, like Randomized Scrutiny, that podcast that we did, he wants to do that on a regular basis and like bring guests on and just talk about random stuff and things like that. He's also like a really big comic book nerd, so he loves like DC comics and Marvel comics, and he has like his huge collection in his bedroom. He wants to have like a podcast where he talks about that stuff and bring some guest stars on for that. But basically, like he was just like, because he knew me and he knew I did video stuff, when this all started happening, he was like, hey, I'm gonna need someone to like handle my social media stuff and like help me make my videos if I want to do that. So I was like, yeah, I can do that for you. And so I started working on those things, and we did the podcast. And we made that video where he talked about that's like his first video on his channel, my story and what character. So we made that video, and that did really well. And so then we made the podcast, and we made the Rolodex Brain, which is this like vlog series. Sort of had like a plan laid out for like what videos we were gonna make. So yeah,
doing a lot of stuff. I never knew you were doing so much stuff in the background. It's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
You do work a lot for an 18-year-old. I was like probably like doing half the stuff you're doing.
It's probably pretty weird.
Yeah, you're working pretty hard, dude. What about your mental health? This is the theme that I want to go with everyone I want to talk to. So what about it? Have you ever had any struggles, anything that was going on?
Sure. So like that video that you were talking about, like the whole video is called Sorry, because it's sort of me explaining myself and why for a long time I didn't like produce any content for me, and where my head was at during that time in my life. So that whole video sort of explained that like kind of this year around January, around the same time that I was like, going into a new relationship with Katie, and like, a lot of new stuff was happening and a lot of projects were being started. Behind the scenes, there was like a lot of like, I'd say like pain, but just darkness, I guess, and like not really knowing, what to do, and it was a weird time for me, like where I just really wasn't motivated to make content anymore, and it was like that was upsetting me because like I really wanted to, but I didn't want to at the same time. It was just sort of like confusing and weird. And I didn't figure my way through. Like, well, how do I get out of this? How do I break this cycle? It was just like a time of.
So, do you consider that like a depression kind of a thing?
Yeah, I guess that's probably what like an outsider would have called it, but being in it, I wouldn't have called it that at the time. Looking back, maybe, but I don't know. It was just sort of like a haze of sort of confusion and like no motivation, I guess.
How are you feeling right now, in general?
I feel a lot better. Honestly, it's like this, sort of last few months has been like me sort of trying to lift myself out of that and figure things out. And so, things have steadily gotten better. Not all at once, but you take it one step at a time.
Dude, you seem pretty mature, dude. I was never as.
I guess I was just forced to grow up.
Cool. I guess that's about it. It was really nice knowing you, and we have to stay in touch. And like I certainly want to know more about how you're going through and what you're doing and stuff. And probably we'll do another interview in 5 years when you'll be famous doing some independent film or something. Yeah, man, it was an honor meeting you. I really love meeting people like you. I'm really thankful for your time. And
it's been a treat. Thank you so much.
yeah, man, I really appreciate you being here, and right away you accepted my invitation. So yeah, thank you. We'll stay in touch, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
See you, man.